NRG obviously lost their 2 best players heading into this event, heading into 2023. And one of the replacements is s0m for Marved. Marved being up there as one of the best smokes players that we had in the world last year, with, you know, Marco, Pancada, that kind of thing. And s0m hasn't really played smokes. He played like entry Omen on Breeze a couple of times, and that's about it. And s0m was super polarizing for people coming into 2023 because when you're a streamer, people just either love you or love to hate you. And so you've just got all the like, W streamer, s0m is just going to be so fucking good immediately. And then people saying he's just dog shit. And I thought it was really interesting in this game, the like slow, tentative start that he had into actually having a really impressive performance. He was arguably the MVP of their match against Koi. Although I think you could have said that Crashies was the MVP. I'm not sure who actually won the poll. But I just wanted to show like the difference between the first half that he played on Icebox and then the kind of the rest of what he was doing on the map. Because I just thought that there was a really big difference between them. Oh, s0m won the poll? That does make sense though, doesn't it? Because I mean, he's a, you know, W streamer, isn't he? So this was the pistol round, first thing to start. And a lot of these mistakes at the beginning weren't that bad, but it just seemed like s0m didn't quite have his head in the game, wasn't playing completely focused. In this pistol, for example, you'll see there's already been a bunch of fighting going down. NRG are in a 3v2 situation, and they're going to double reclear Coldementor's position. And so they double swing. It's nice. It's coordinated. s0m gets this kill, and then he sticks around and tries to get the second kill onto s0m, despite the fact he doesn't have any bullets in his gun. And it's really awkward. Let me lower the volume there as well. It's really awkward, and s0m ends up surviving, and s0m wins the 1v1, and it just sets this massive snowball going on, right? So, again, not a terrible mistake, but s0m just kind of not quite with his head in the game there. Getting one, getting out would have definitely been the best option, and he just ran out of bullets and crouched on the floor. Looked really strange. Here he is again. He was defending the A site, and Koi are going in. They're a bit stressed in their bonus round. They don't have very good weaponry. And you can see, based on where FNS is positioned here, the Viper Wall is up, right? And then FNS is trying to catch a player as they retreat. And Trex is just allowed to escape here because this Viper Orb is up the entire time. And I feel like some communication may be being missed, or maybe some didn't quite realize the timing here. But he literally just lets Trex get out for free behind this wall, behind the orb that he's got up. And FNS can't see anything. I don't know why FNS doesn't spam, to be honest, but Trex just manages to get away and kills 3 in the post plant. And Koi win that round off the back of basically Trex should 100% be a dead man there. And things just don't quite work within the NRG camp. And then this round I found really strange as well, round 6. And so again, at this point, I'll explain what's happening, right? I mean, Koi are going for a big attack in on the A site. And NRG know that they're here. They're spamming. Okay, s0m at this point, I mean, take a look at where he's positioned. He's over on the B site. This makes sense though, right? You still want to, you know, in case it's a fake or, you know, they're doing something different. They decide to pivot. You don't want to be too far away, but you want to start dropping back into the site around this point. And when the plant goes down, certainly that's the time to go away. You know, it's not going to be a fake when the plant is literally happening right in front of your noses. Everything says that this is an A push, and it takes some like 7 seconds or something to realize that it's an A hit. And when I'm watching at this point, 6 rounds in, I'm thinking, man, s0m is really struggling here. His head's not in the game properly. He's all over the place. And then it gets to round 11, man, and FNS has read this kitchen push off the back of a Koi timeout, and he calls for some help from s0m. s0m swings in and should be in the perfect position to finish off Crashy's ult, and he just crouch sprays and whiffs all over s0m. And I was like, man, this guy is done. This guy is out of it. His head isn't in the game. He's really struggling to adapt to the big stage. And I think immediately after getting this 5k, it all just came back to him. He's at yellow. Recon dart gets broken for him. Wolfen goes for a bit of a dodgy peek. So s0m gets a very easy first kill. At this point, by the way, he was 4-9 heading into this round. So only 4 kills over the course of the last 11 rounds. He was playing really poorly. But so was everybody on NRG. I mean, a lot of the players were really struggling. It wasn't just s0m by any means. But I wanted to highlight him because he had such a massive turnaround. And then, you know, obviously, you've seen the rest of this round where he just pops off, denies the res, gets a 5k. And I feel like these were just such confidence kills. The spray transfer there to be able to headshot s0m and stop the trade is great. Punish the res, obviously, very simple. And then the final kill on s0m is great too. But from here on out, he was fucking popping off. Here, for example, they've gone for this play where s0m goes up the tube, and then it's s0m's job is basically just to guard his back. And s0m doesn't have to do anything crazy. He just sits there and makes sure that nobody punishes s0m. And it's all about just playing smart. It's all about playing smart, not over-fighting anything. And he's just staying alive, popping his smoke, doesn't try to over-fight. And he definitely seems much more settled compared to what was going on in the first half. And I think part of this is probably that he was feeling a bit better about, you know, like winning the pistol, that kind of thing. But he ended up being really important in this bonus round. I mean, clearly much more confident in the way that he's taking that fight. Doesn't try to overfight here, just jiggle in the box and waiting for Victor to come in. So, all really good. And then you move on to, like, round 17 here. And even though they didn't win this round, I just, again, wanted to highlight how much more confidently s0m was playing at this point in the game compared to what you'd seen from him earlier in the first half. They're in a really rough situation here. They're in a 3v5. There's two players from NRG over here, and s0m is on a lurk, right? So these players from NRG are just supposed to try and distract for s0m to get in a little bit. And s0m decides to try and make a play, and I think this was a really good play to go for, especially after s0m dies. s0m trying to make some space happen on the other side of the site, runs into the Killjoy utility, not much he can do. Right, suddenly, this becomes the play. And s0m decides to take a risk behind his Viper wall, getting into this position, and this is a great decision. This would be a bit of a throw if you're in a full 5-on-5, obviously, but in essentially a 2v5 here, or, you know, a 2v3 on the site, it's really important that s0m tries to make a play to equalize the situation rather than just playing full retake, even though he's got the pit up here. So I think he definitely makes the right play by going for this and seeing if he can grab Cold Dementor. And he knows that there's another player around here somewhere, and he just decides to challenge Wolfen, ends up dying for it. But I think that was still a really good thing to go for. And I think he ended up top fragging the first map after being like only 4 kills in the first 11 rounds. And then on Haven, he had a bunch of other highlights, but I just wanted to highlight this too, because it wasn't just good individual decision making. Look at the smoke that s0m throws here. It goes all the way over, and it basically helps NRG win this round at 8-8. It's still a situation where Koi had some chances of being able to get into the game and make things really dangerous. So look at the smoke that comes through. They're under a bunch of pressure over on the A site. 3 players playing in short, and s0m on the fly sends them this really nice smoke to play around. I mean, this is just gorgeous. This allows Victor to sneak around the back of the Koi players. It allows these guys to fight short, and they can't really be pushed very well. The smoke just gives Victor that kill. It's a bit unlucky that Victor even dies in it. And then these players are just able to hide short. And so, what the fuck are Koi supposed to do? I mean, s0m... Oh, before we go on to the next clip. I mean, this is just such a nice smoke to throw to help the rest of the team. Just doing that on the fly, really nice stuff. And then he's also hitting fucking crazy cracked shots like this one. So I grabbed the highlight from this. But this is the round where s0m is stood right here, just ready to ult back all of CT. And s0m decides to hold on to his breach ult, so s0m doesn't have a very good timing for it. It's all really panicked in the Koi camp. You can tell that they're quite a new team. But s0m also hits some unbelievable shots here. This is... He gets a look at s0m, but he's still moving. And he gets this kill off. He gets stunned, and he just flicks up to Trex and deletes him as he comes through. So not only does he find the perfect timing to be able to get in onto s0m, he fucking wrecks Trex as he's coming through the smoke and stops any chance of a follow-up off s0m's breach ult. It was so nice. And I think a pretty deserving MVP of the match. I'm excited to watch this guy, man. I'm excited to watch this guy and see whether playing on NRG and being under FNS in some sense is going to help s0m become a top player. I was already pretty impressed. I don't think he's going to be like Marved and be an MVP of the event. I think he had a particularly great game to start things off against a fairly middling team, right? I don't think Koi are one of the contenders to win everything, but I think it was still really impressive.